Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it's time for another daily dose of Dismal Disney. We're going to give you the grand tour, the grand fiesta tour of all things Dismal Disney. We're going to talk about how Disney is getting its butt kicked all over the place.
I saw the chart, but I didn't see what you wrote. It looks like Splash Mountain Wii.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about the decline in the Disney Channel. We're going to talk about how, Disney is declining at the box office and they need a major hit. They're talking about how the delays in the Disney movie could be a blemish on Bob Iger's legacy.
Oh, only that?
Only that?
I can think of several others.
We're going to talk about how Universal Orlando attendance is higher than most Disney World parks at this point.
Yes.
And that's before Mario.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not very good. And then we've got some anecdotes of someone who worked for Disney and didn't like it very much.
Oh, and then we have some ways they're trying to cash grab it too.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. The pricing for their new parties, their paywalling stuff that used to be free.
Used to be included in the ticket, yes.
Yeah, well, nothing's free at Disney,
free.
But it was included and now it's an upcharge. Let's talk about all this before we get into it any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. If you do, you'll get a woohoo.
Woohoo!
She's here today, so you get a woohoo. I'm not even going to try to woohoo anymore.
So you might want to get your popcorn because this might be a long video.
Yeah, this one might be a little bit longer. We've got several things, and it's basically all painting a very dismal picture of Disney. Now, we do specialize in making Disney look dismal, but they actually do it to themselves.
Well, actually, we used to be like the one person we're going to talk about before we got in there and found out what it's really like.
Pixie Duster. Yeah.
We were, sadly.
Let's just talk about these numbers. Disney Plus, we know that they've lost subscribers. Mm-hmm. We know that Disney's last couple movies have not performed. They're saying the Elemental is going to be another flop. We know that they've shut down the Galactic Star Cruiser. They're doing fire sales on some of their rooms.
Yeah, for holidays.
Holidays.
During the parties and stuff, which we're going to talk about. But one of the deals they're doing, Disney Plus, and they did this before, that if you have Disney Plus, you can get 35% off of select rooms during the holiday time, including Christmas. And they're doing that so that you're like, well, if I only have to pay $7 a month for Disney Plus to save 35% of the hotel rooms, I'm going to do it. And that's what they're doing. That tells me their Disney Plus numbers are down. Yeah, so they're doing this again. They did this before with Disney Plus. They're offering a deal. If you buy Disney Plus or you're a Disney Plus subscriber, you can get up to 35% off select rooms at Disney Resort hotels. Usually those are the expensive ones. The minimum's 15, which is higher than, a lot of times they only do 10. So they're giving you a better discount on the hotel rooms, and they're figuring you'd still be ahead if you subscribe Disney Plus and then got this discount. So they're trying to lure people into subscribing to Disney Plus, which tells me end of the quarter is this month, and then the end of the fiscal year is October, and these bookings are for now between now and I think some of the stuff starts in July, so it's for this quarter and for the year. They're trying to up their numbers.
Yeah, so that tells me that things aren't good. Disney never offers a discount if they think you'll pay full price.
No.
And we know that, the attendance, obviously, the Galactic Star Cruiser was not good. They're shutting the thing down for now. And, so let's paint a larger picture here. So not only are Disney Plus numbers going down, not only is Disney striking out at the box office, and they have been repeatedly, lots of their movies have not been performing. Marvel movies have not been performing. Their animated movies have not been performing. But Disney Channel, now people knew that the viewership for the Disney Channel was in steep decline. I didn't realize how steep it was. We actually watched an episode of Defunctland the other day where he was trying to track down the gentleman that did the theme song for the Disney Channel. So it's a very good episode. It's kind of a mystery. Definitely watch it if you're into Disneyana and Disney Channel and whatever. But they're talking about how the Disney Channel was like the biggest thing ever for kids around 2007, 2008. And the decline, and at the time, I think Defunctland said they only had a couple 100,000 people watching Disney Channel regularly. It's actually worse than that. I went out to, Statista, and they have statistics. And from 2014, which is still after the prime of Disney Channel, to last year, they went from almost 2 million viewers down to 180,000 viewers.
And that's before Disney Plus.
Before Disney Plus.
But when Disney Plus came in, it dropped, even more.
Yeah, but to put that in perspective, 180,000 viewers. There are YouTubers that get significantly more than that on every video they post.
Right.
Disney Channel is completely irrelevant at this point. Yeah, again, I think Disney Plus cannibalized
But you
that
can
audience.
see, though, Disney Plus showed up around 2019 at 0.53. It already declined,
Oh,
1.5 million before that,
Yeah, so Disney Channel is just not even an issue. And so weird. And actually how this came about was there's conversation on Twitter about why the Owl House got canceled and why Disney's not really investing in animated series like they were before. And I was like, well, when Gravity Falls was on, they had a lot more eyeballs.
Gravity Falls is so good.
Gravity Falls was good. But the reality is the animation's very expensive and Disney Channel's audience is almost non-existent.
And to be fair, they're putting it all on Disney Plus anyway.
Yeah.
So from 2019 on, expect it to go further in decline because a lot of that's being pushed over to Disney Plus because they need subscribers on Disney Plus.
Yeah, Disney Channel now is basically just a commercial for other Disney stuff, for vacations and it used to be a whole thing. Like they had, Disney Channel for the teens and they had Radio Disney and they had tied in the theme parks and it was like, they were huge. They were bigger than Nickelodeon. Now it's just like nothing. It's like nothing now. And again, we're talking about the movies and, with them pushing back the movies, Scott Mendelson, who used to, people used to accuse him of being a Disney shill, is like, hey, this is a very risky proposition for Bob Iger to push Avatar back. Same thing we said, because it could make or break his legacy. If they push Avatar back and put these other movies in there, and push the Marvel movies back, it's like Disney's revenue outlook for the next couple of years is not good.
No.
It really is not good. And he basically said, hey, they peaked with Endgame with Marvel, and now it's just a matter of maintaining what audience they have left. And that's not a good look. Their best bet was Avatar, and that's the one they pushed back.
I know. That's why I was surprised when I saw they pushed it back to shove in Star Wars and Moana live action. Two things that are in decline. And they're like, we're going to shove those in, and we're going to push Avatar back.
Yeah. So they're talking about, Star Wars returning to theaters. I don't think anybody's going to care. What does this mean for Bob Iger? They said there's a risk for his legacy because they said that Marvel...
Just now? He overspent on Fox. The company's in decline. He put Bob Chapek in, allegedly, it's on him, even I think it was the board. And, he caused all that. He came back and then laid a bunch of people off and then said that he was going to go help the consumer out. And then there's some cheap tickets for summer and that's about it. Yeah. We're going to talk about the price hikes on things.
Yeah. So he's saying, you can tell he's saying it without saying it, right? He said, there's a risk to this playbook pushing all this stuff back. If Marvel aggressively peaked with Endgame,
which it did.
If Star Wars without Luke, Han, and Leia is just another sci-fi franchise.
Don't say, you alt-right troll who lives in your mom's basement.
If Moana shows that the live-action remake factory is only huge when adapting the Katzenberg era of tunes, and if the former Fox franchises aren't as vibrant, give or take Avatar, that would be Alien and everything else they're doing right now, under the Disney umbrella, that's a lot of baggage from the old CEO to be handled by the next CEO.
Or they haven't even done jack shit to find the next CEO, and he's been there for months. God, it's like...
I don't think he's looking. I'll tell you the truth. I don't think he's looking.
It's like everything that we've been saying, and people like us have been saying, and that we got so much shit for, and now, I'm like, you don't fucking say.
So now we've got, they're getting their ass kicked in animation. They're getting their ass kicked in live action movies.
I need a drink.
They're getting their ass kicked on TV. Okay. They're getting their ass kicked in streaming because now they're starting to lose subs and
they're going to get their ass kicked in theme parks.
That's where we're going next. So this was always a reliable cash cow for Disney. Even when they were striking out the box office, they always had theme parks. And now they're not even going to have that because Universal is going to take their biscuit here pretty damn soon, especially with Mario. So this is coming from Blog Mickey. And they said they released the 2022 Global Attractions Attendance Report.
I saw this yesterday, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not good. It's not good for Disney. So, of course, the top theme park is Magic Kingdom, 17.1 million, of course. But that even is down because it was in the 20s.
Well, interestingly enough, before the pandemic. So you compare, we can go up to what the current one is and compare. Yeah, Magic Kingdom's still number one, but it was down to 17 now. But in 2019, it was 20, almost 21. So that's a decline. What's next? The number 2 is Universal Islands of Adventure.
11 million.
11 million. If we go back to where was it before? Is it staying up there? Well, first of all, it wasn't even.
It's over. It's over what it was.
Yeah. Okay. That's what's interesting to me. Pre-pandemic, these what the numbers were on the right under 2019. These are the current numbers. Yeah. It is up. Universal Studios is a little bit down, but it's roughly the same. Hollywood Studios is down, which surprises me because what about Galaxy's Edge? It came out in 2019, but I thought it was supposed to be like the biggest, bestest thing ever. Why isn't that holding people's attention?
Fewer people are going to Hollywood Studios than are going to Islands of Adventure.
Epcot is down, but it's all tore up since then. Animal Kingdom is down, and they had Avatar, and it's down, like 4 in thousands or whatever. So it's down. They're down. But if you go up to the list up top, you can see that. But up top here, the list is Magic Kingdom, then Islands of Adventure, Hollywood Studios, and this is barely beating Universal Studios Florida. So Universal is coming for Magic Kingdom. And if the trend continues, it could overtake Magic Kingdom.
Epic Universe might. I don't know if it will right out of the gate because, Magic, like when most people think of Disney World.
It will for the first year probably.
Yeah.
Then you have to look past the first year.
But you look at this and what is going on here? One, Disney's prices, which we're going to talk about. Again, Disney is basically trying to price out the middle class. And now there are going to be price hikes, I'm sure, at Universal. But also, look, we can't ignore the elephant or the donkey in the room. Disney has decided they were going to take it upon themselves to get political, which I'm sure in Florida has had repercussions. People are like, well,
we know that.
We're just going to take our money and we're going to go across town to Universal because even though Comcast is a pretty progressive company, they're not hitting you upside the head with it the way that Disney has been.
I think Universal in some ways, from my understanding, people who work there who are diverse, has been more inclusive and for years they have been. But they were just making it as like, oh, it's just what we should be doing. It wasn't like we have to advertise all over the place for accolades. It's what basic rights we should be giving. And Disney has to be shamed into a lot of that stuff. And then they're making public displays of it now.
Yeah, because like a lot of these, like SeaWorld's holding pretty steady. Knott's Berry Farm's down a little bit, obviously, here. But a lot of them are holding steady or
They're
going
about the
up.
same. Hershey's about the same.
But Disney's parks are all in decline since the pandemic. That's a little weird.
Because when you go to the parks, you can't walk. But lately people have been saying that the crowds are down.
Yes, this is 2022. Now, I've been hearing the crowds are down. I haven't been down there myself in quite a while. But now when we went to Universal last fall for Halloween Horror Nights, it was absolutely insane. I have never seen Universal like that. I was going to take the kids back in the last day to go ride E.T. because we didn't get a chance to ride E.T. So, it was very busy, and I'd never seen Universal like that. Usually Universal, you can just kind of walk into. But I'm talking.
Halloween Horror Nights is pretty popular.
Well, this wasn't even Halloween Horror Nights. This was like, it was a holiday weekend. It was Columbus Day.
You picked the holiday weekend. That's why it was busy.
It was crazy.
Don't do that.
But we're talking like Magic Kingdom levels of crowds. But at this rate, it's very conceivable that between when Epic Universe opens, that those 3 parks will eventually eat Disney's lunch. And the thing is Disney did it to themselves on so many levels. Even going back to Harry Potter, Disney had a chance to get Harry Potter, but they didn't want to listen to J.K.
They were
Rowling.
arrogant. And then she's like, fine, let's take it to Universal. And then they made their own enemy.
Yeah, and they got a lot of Disney's Imagineers. And frankly, Wizarding World is what Galaxy's Edge should have been. It is an immersive experience with recognizable locations from the movies we know and love. It's not some random planet they just made up. $1 billion to go LARP in your own fan fiction.
A lot of people, but you have to understand though, a lot of people don't have the imagination to. I'm not trying to be rude, but you have to give it what they recognize. They're not. It's not fun for them to try to go in and make it all up in their head. Like
No,
you need something they can connect to, and that's just the way it is for a lot of people. I don't have time for making up shit. I want to be here for a day. I want to see what I want to see
Darth
what
Vader
I love,
and see Luke Skywalker. And
yeah, I don't. It's not the same thing. A lot of people that are LARPers want to spend more time engaged in like the local lore and all that crap. The most normies want to go in, see their favorite things, get pictures, so they can tell their friends they were on the Falcon and go flipping home.
Yeah,
that's just the way it is. Know your audience.
So yeah, and now we're going to talk prices, and then we're going to talk about the working conditions. I think at Disney, and just they are making their own enemies. They are doing this to themselves. It's it's completely avoidable if they would just listen to their workers, if they would listen to their fans, the consumers. They would, but they don't.
They claimed they were going to. Bob Iger claimed that because Chapek was price gouging and he came back and he was going to give lower price tickets, to Disneyland. And all this other stuff. He was going, you don't have to pay for the parking at the hotels anymore. I'm walking that back. Oh, thank you, Bob Iger, for walking back Bob Chapek's mistake, except that was Bob Iger's choice. A lot of things he walked back or changed, a lot of them were they were his own dumbassery, but he was letting Chapek take the blame for it. So there was a rumor, and I think I mentioned it in one video in passing, that why have one holiday party at Magic Kingdom at $159 to $200 a ticket per person when you can have two? So now they're going to offer a holiday party over at Hollywood Studios, and it's going to be called the Jollywood Nights. And it honestly sounds like a lot of shit thrown together, except for Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam, the really popular fireworks show and the projection show,
which I liked.
They used to go to Hollywood Studios. It was included in your ticket, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, the way it reads, it sounds like it's only going to be available. They haven't brought it back yet. They're bringing it back now, but only for people who are coming to this event and paying a shit ton of money for it.
So they're going to paywall it.
They're paywalling Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam.
Well, they do it with the parties in Magic Kingdom too. They have special projection shows just for those parties.
Right, so but this one was really popular though.
And you'll pay for it,
but
right?
all this stuff feels like they just slapped it together. Like, listen to what they have. You can have a DJ spitting tunes, and then you're going to have a lively Latin street fair. That sounds like Christmas. With Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy are going to host a live holiday special at the Theater of the Stars.
Okay.
And a sing-along at a Hyperion Theater.
Okay, but Miss Piggy and Kermit the Frog, maybe.
And then you're going to have, and then they're like, there's going to be limited capacity entertainment experiences at the Jazz Lounge, Hollywood Brown Derby. That sounds like you have to pay for extra. The Hollywood Tower Courtyard. I
misread that as the Jizz Lounge.
No.
I'm like, oh my God, it's Disney's Jizz Lounge.
No. That's just nasty. Don't say that. And then Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam is coming back. And then guess what? There's new magic shots, and they have a whole bunch of food that you can buy. They're not even listing usually when they have these parties and after hours events, they give you snacks that are included. No mention of that. Doesn't mean there won't be. They might mention it later. But so far they haven't mentioned it, but they're mentioning about all the upcharges you can participate in. It doesn't sound like it's worth it. And then by the way, you can ride Rise of the Resistance in some attractions.
If it works.
Oh, yeah. Only reason this might be worth it, because it sounds like it sucks. Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam's awesome. It's bullshit that they're paywalling it. And, riding rides. And maybe the Mickey, or the Kermit and Piggy would be worth it. But that's about it.
I wish they would do more with the Muppets. I really do. But then be careful what you wish for. It could be a monkey's paw. They'd do something with them. It'd be really awful.
But then they also announced today, and the tickets, we'll go back up. The ticket prices for this one run from $159 to $179. Okay.
Holy hell.
Oh, wait. Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party's worse. Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party prices start at $159 and run up to $200 before taxes.
I remember when it was like $75.
Yeah. Well, both these parties, now this again might change when closer to the date that they release ticket sales. They don't list children's ticket prices. Normally they say, okay, adults are going to be this range, children are in this range. They're not saying children's prices. So I don't know if it's a matter of they're not going to offer children's tickets, or the $159 is the low price of her children's ticket and they're just rolling it into the one pricing to not freak people out. But over for Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, one thing I found very, 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 very interesting. This year, they made a point of saying about different attractions are going to be open to try to get people to come in. And it's a lot of the same stuff they usually offer. It sounds about the same. However, Tron. People are going to want to come in to ride Tron Light Cycle Run. A lot of people go to after hours events, but they pay the ticket price because you can ride a lot of rides and get a lot of things in that you couldn't get into during the day. Tron is only offering the attraction as the same as they would during the day with virtual queue only. So people coming to the party have to get in the virtual queue, and you're only allowed to ride one time. So they're upcharging your fucking ass to go into this event, to go in, to pay up to $200 per person. Most people are going to go in like, I'm going to ride Tron like 5 times, because usually you're allowed to ride these attractions as many times as you get through the line and you can go. No, you're allowed one time, which is the same as what you can get in the virtual queue during the day. And it also tells me that they're probably going to shove in a lot more people. Sorry.
They're going to take you to the Jizz Lounge.
They're going to shove in a lot more people. Because why else do they have to run virtual queue? Because virtual queue during the day, Yes. But during an after hours limited ticketed event, a lot of people are going to want to ride it repeatedly. Yeah. But, and the queue isn't maybe as long as it would be if that's just because they add onto the queue later when they take it out of virtual queue.
Yeah.
But there still should be enough room there to run people through if you're keeping the limited capacity. People are paying all this money and they're allowed to ride at one time with the same ride system they can use during the day normally, but you get to pay a fucking upcharge. At least I don't think they raised it much in Slasher, like $10 maybe.
So magical. And that coaster took, what, 5 or 6 years to build, but then Universal...
It lasts like 30 seconds.
Yeah, and Universal put up the Velocicoaster, and what, it took them like 6 months or something. They built Hagrid and the Velocicoaster in the time it took Disney to build the Tron coaster, which is just it's just a clone of a ride they already had open in Shanghai.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know?
I'm surprised they aren't charging you more. Like, you can have this pass, but if you want to ride Tron Coaster up to 3 times, you have to pay this much more. I'm surprised they aren't doing that. They also keep adding, I don't know if they're going to do it this year, they did it before, dining packages or dessert parties to these events. So you already have an event that's limited capacity. You're already paying a premium to go in for after hours, low crowd, supposedly. Low crowd's my ass. They'll pack it in up to a crowd level 7. And I've been there when they have. It's bullshit. Then they would charge you extra. You can go to a dessert party and have extra stuff, but it costs you even more money on top of the money. They're just trying, especially with the Hollywood Studios, Jollywood Nights. They're just trying to find a way to get more money out of people. And the thing is, people are going to pay it. Because they're going to be like, I got to go to the exclusive, Jollywood's party. I got to watch Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam. Ha ha ha, you didn't.
I'm rich, you're not. And
of course, the dates of the parties, I think, seem to be opposite so that you can go to both if you're there.
Of course. They'll probably do a package or something.
Family of 4. If you have to go family of 4 and you're paying like with tax, we'll figure in the mid range. $200 a person. That's $1,600 to go to 2 after hours events.
But what's that when you've already dropped $10,000 on you? You know what I'm saying?
It's a lot. I mean, I'm sorry. That's a lot of money for people.
Much money. It's too much money. It's way too much
for some people working, that's money for a month.
Yeah, right. Well, including people that work at Disney. That's, so there, look, we can segue. See, look how smooth I am. Look how smooth I am. I'm not really that smooth. Yeah, so you're going to have to tell me about this. You were reading this article today. This is someone who moved to Orlando to work at Disney World.
Yeah, I think that they don't live that far away from it. But yeah, Disney was a big part of their life. Disney, they were Disney, fans all their growing up years. And then when they graduated college, they kept trying to get an internship with marketing and couldn't get one. But they moved 2 hours to Orlando from their college to go work part-time in retail.
Yeah.
And they said they were overworked. This is before the pandemic. This is before Toy Story Land opened.
It's 2017.
Okay? Yeah, so it's a while ago. But it was at the height of Disney, heading into the height of Disney. They were overworked. And I'm sure it's worse now because they can't find people.
Oh, I'm sure.
They got scheduled out 10 days in a row with no breaks. They were told to do jobs they weren't given instructions how to do. They got mocked by their managing person. Like they were at the launch bay, and because they didn't know enough about Star Wars. This is pre Galaxy's Edge. Yeah. That the person didn't request they come back. It just went on for a few months, and I don't think it was even a month. It went on for like a couple weeks, and then they just up and quit, knowing they would never be brought back. And they still go to the parks and still like going to the parks as a guest, but working there was a piece of shit. And I know cast members have different stories. Some cast members have really good stories, some do not. I can't think any cast member has a completely, 100% no bad days ever, because guests are assholes. And sounds like managers are also assholes.
Well, I've noticed more rudeness at the parks since the pandemic. And
I can't imagine what kind of shit they put.
I'm sure people have had enough. I think a lot of them. I think they saw what Disney was actually like during the pandemic. I think they had to deal with guests that are more difficult than usual during the pandemic. I think that
but they were getting spit on.
They were getting spit on. But like our son, the last time we went, and this was last year, we went last year, and he was wearing a Rakakuni shirt from Everything Everywhere All at Once. And, he was happy that, somebody noticed it. But then the cast member was like, hey, that's pretty cool. He thought he was talking to him. And he said, oh, yeah, thanks a lot. And he's like, I wasn't talking to you. I was like,
yeah, he was like, there was no reason to do that.
I was like, holy hell, did you just have to clean up one of the ride vehicles there, Ratatouille, or what?
I don't know.
What is the deal, dude?
That's the jizz party you were talking about.
That's the jizz lounge, yeah. So, she basically lasted a month. They sent her to Bubble Wand Purgatory, and look, I understand not all retail jobs are glamorous, but I have noticed a definite change in the demeanor of cast members over the last couple of years compared to what it used to be.
But I'm sure they're between guests and management.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit. Plus, like when the pandemic hit, a lot of the cast members got laid off indefinitely. While hires up got to keep their, at least part of their job.
2 weeks. 2 weeks at Disney World was enough. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe she should. She's on the West Coast.
She lives on the West Coast now. Yeah. I just thought this was interesting because I can tell you for a fact. We love Disney. I mean, like, love Disney. So much so that we actually made up our own job to go to Disney more often and get paid to do so. Okay. We loved it. Got the coveted media, all of that, because we love Disney so much. And then after you get in there and then you start to realize what's going on, it sobers you up pretty darn quick. People are like, you just hate Disney. Do not hate Disney. Literally sat at the Little Mermaid movie with my daughter and her friend when they had the Disney 100 thing with the castle, was in tears, not because I'm like, oh yay, nostalgia. No, I was in tears, which is what what they wanted me to be. I was in tears because I was so angry that we went from how I felt then to what I know now, and it makes me pissed, and it makes me sad, and I don't like it. I know I'm not alone. I'm just because the company is no longer everything they said they were.
No,
they're all about money and investors and show games and buying up shit, just appropriating it and then borging everything. And then telling me that if I don't think anything, if I don't like what they're doing, that I'm a bad person, and letting their own people going around, harassing fans, insulting fans, letting people be called racist over questioning things like race changing, race swapping, letting people get called incel, troll, whatever, because they don't like their Star Wars movie where you tease Han, Luke, and Leia together and then fucking kill, Han off and never put them together. No. People are upset. I sat there just so crying because it's like when you miss somebody or something, like almost like something's gone and you miss it. It was like that, but I was mad too. I was so pissed. I'm like, if I could throw a cup at that screen, I would. I was so mad, but I also so sad at the same time. I was. I don't know what the word I'm looking for. Sad. Mad.
The company has changed a lot. I mean, people used to stay there for decades. But both creatively and working in the parks, and people loved it and they loved to be part of the company. And now 2 weeks is enough to drive people away. And I'm with her. I said, she said, I realize magic is a finite resource. I'd rather save it for special moments and build a career around it. Yeah. If you build a career around it, you become a Disney lifestyler, you will eventually come to hate it because the way Disney is now, you are not allowed to say anything negative.
Right. And you're thinking, oh, I can help. I can show them like, oh, this is not working. No, and as a person who's been a guest for years, this could make it better. Right now you get a phone call. What do you mean it's too hot at Toy Story Land? We need positivity. And they put shade up at Toy Story Land because it's too fucking hot at Toy Story Land.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Why are we looking at somebody do hair things? It's really gross.
I don't know what that is. Human hair mats, clean oil spills, whatever. That's insiders advertising right now. But look, Disney's getting its ass kicked all over the place. Universal is
coming for it.
Coming for it now. I know Universal's not perfect either. I know people probably have had experiences there, but you don't hear about the cast members, team members complaining as much.
You also have, the movie and the animation. Disney is getting their asses kicked by every other animation group out there. Super Mario Brothers did what Disney don't anymore. Yeah. And, we have Elemental coming out. And even though it's creative, it's really not that creative. They keep, oh, it's so creative. No, it's not. Nah. Same thing we've seen before. It just, it's going to get its butt kicked. Yeah,
it is. And, now Ruby Gillman's not going to do that good either. No. But that's a whole other thing. Mario's made more than enough money to get Universal by for a while. But yeah, it's just dismal.
And Sony's out marveling Marvel.
Yeah. So it's we're gonna watch this. Obviously, guys, I think we'll have content for years to come. But I was very surprised to see Universal.
I'm not actually.
Starting to overtake Disney. I mean, they are. And when Nintendo comes, it's gonna get real. It's gonna get real.
Well, when they did the pandemic and they were trying to get reopening, and they were at those meetings, which I would virtually attend. Universal took the lead on getting reopened. Disney could have reopened sooner, and they didn't because they were trying to, make sure they didn't get sued. But Universal took the lead on that, and everything else. It's like Universal's taking the lead on a lot of things, and Disney's just coming up short. And look, I don't want to see Disney be in this position. I don't want to see Disney ruin franchises. I don't want to see Disney do another live action remake. I want to see Disney innovate again and be number one again and all that shit and, be amazing and stop, pissing people off. That would be glorious. But the problem is some people are just, are starting, and I know Neon's one of them, are just like, I don't think you can win them back at this point.
No, I don't think so. I think it's over. At this point, I think so many people, again, I hate to drag politics into it, but that's a huge part of it right now with Disney in particular. They've become the center of a shitstorm, and they did that to themselves. They put themselves in the crosshairs politically.
Well, they're going to get exactly what they said they wanted.
Yeah.
You're going to get exactly what you want. So There you go. Good for you, I guess.
Good for you. All right, keep the bigots out, and they'll take their bigot bucks elsewhere.
I don't know.
All right, we're going to wrap it up?
Yeah.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.
Help support the channel. Go to thereef.support and get early access to podcasts, videos, and other content. That's thereef.support.